prepared.
Amazing.
And we
So
are
official.
live. Ben's crazy. Jess is here. Jess was like, I am not missing tonight because I missed last night. She's like, I am not having this. Right, Jess?
I love that.
I found that it's a delay here. If people are on their phone and tablet, it's in real time for some reason, but it's a delay. So you can see your comments. Have you been on someone's StreamYard live before? Have you been on?
Oh, I've been on other lives, but never with StreamYard.
Okay, so you'll be able to see the comments where it says comment. So at your right, you won't be able to comment, but you can comment from your phone or something. Or if you see someone with a question or they say something, you can give it a shout out. I'll highlight it, like how Jess is highlighted there. I'll just highlight it for you. And then we'll go from there. But I wanted to say welcome to everyone who is here tonight. I'm so happy to be here with my good friend, Ashley. Yay! Ashley, how about you introduce yourself to everyone?
Yeah, absolutely. So my name is Ashley, and I am a part-time reseller based in Toronto, Ontario, Canada, representing the Canadians. I do Poshmark part-time, and by day, I'm an operations manager for a small business. And I live in Toronto, as I said, with my partner and our 2 cats.
Nice.
And that's kind of me. And, in the midst of a global pandemic, I mostly stay home and process inventory and work on my reselling business and YouTube channel.
Yeah. Okay. I'm in real time. My lips are dry, friends. I see, Ashley, this is how we do it. This is how
we don't want that.
Do it. No, we can't have that. I just had some dry crackers. So to all the friends, hello. Hey, Kathia, Maria, Sunset Resellers. Hello, friends. New friends joining us today. How about if you drop down your Poshmark, your YouTube, your Instagram handle so that we can all connect with each other. Again, you guys should know it already. I am Leslie, a Reseller's Passion. And I'm here with Ashley. I'm so excited because I love Ashley's YouTube channel. So Ashley, you should give a shout out for your YouTube. So is it your first and last name, right?
Yeah, it's just my first and last name. There is another Ashley Gibson, and he is a UFC fighter, I believe. So I am not him. You'll probably be able to tell us apart.
So don't get thrown off, people. If a guy jumps in, you're like, yeah, that's not looking. Ashley's talking all things reselling. She does day in the life, and she's having a lot of fun. So tell us a little bit about. You don't have to get too much in detail, but what do you do during the day? You actually have a good job, huh?
I know. I sit right here and I do other things, and then I turn it off and do Poshmark. So I'm an operations manager for a small business. I actually just started with the business. It's called Bloom, and I joined in August after being with Shopify for 2.5 years. So at Bloom, we're a workplace design consultancy, and we offer diversity, equity, and inclusion training. We help support with HR, with recruiting, and just like designing incredible workplaces. And I help things run smoothly behind the scenes. We're a super small team of 6 incredible individuals, and I love it. I love the work that I do day to day, and I get to use a whole bunch of different skills that I have. I was actually talking to my boss about this yesterday, I think, and I was saying, like, some people in life are specialists and they have like that one thing that they're laser focused on. And Leslie, I feel like you'll relate to this, where like, I like a lot of things. I think you do too. And in my job at work, I get to do so many different things, from, making sure my boss is organized, to organizing meetings, to taking notes, to yesterday I facilitated a session about 2021. Like, there's so many different skills I get to use in my job. And I love that. And I love the work that we're doing.
Yeah, I love that. And so from your job or previously working for Shopify, do you feel that those talents have spilled over? And is that how you got started with Poshmark? Or how about maybe your YouTube or your Instagram? How does the job that you're doing now or used to do relate to where you are right now?
Yeah. It's so interesting. I've always loved social media, and I started a blog back in like 2008. It's still there. It's just heavily neglected now. I started blogging. I started engaging in social media like Twitter and Pinterest and that kind of thing. And so I've always loved social media, and I've always loved fashion. And I saw Poshmark as an amazing opportunity, but for a long time it wasn't available in Canada. And I heard other bloggers talk about it, and I was like, that Poshmark thing, that sounds amazing. I should do that. But it was never available until 2019. And so that was kind of how I got started on Poshmark. And I think the cool thing about all the jobs that I've had, like a lot of my jobs have kind of been in the realm of like executive assistant or operations. And you know, I've learned a lot of things about writing, about editing, about organizing people, about social media, about project management, staying on task. And I think all of those things absolutely help in my Poshmark business and in my reselling business and on YouTube. And then it also works in the reverse as well. I'm working on a project at work where we're going to be sending out some packages, and I had to find poly mailers to fit a very specific box, and I found perfect poly mailers first try. And I was like, yes. Nice. Poshmark coming in.
Yeah, Poshmark for the win. See, I love it. I think that's really interesting. I try to encourage people to really dig deep and remember things that they probably did years ago. Many people, you know, they've gone off to college and they're probably not even working in their field, right? Their field of study. That's the first thing.
I went to school for musical theater, Leslie.
See?
Musical theater. Like
it's like so like far from, you know, and that's the thing that's really cool, but you could probably play on that later on, and that probably also helps you to create your YouTube videos, and we can get back into that because you're used to having people in front of you. Now this is the scene, so it shouldn't even be like, you're like, yeah, I'm just in front of the camera doing my thing. But I try to encourage people, and I think it's really important for people to remember that they've had some type of skill that they can probably pull out now. Like, you don't have to reinvent the wheel. Like, you know, just for instance, say for instance, you were working a job, you got laid off, right? Now you're going like, I don't know what I'm going to do. I mean, you're already reselling, but you need more money. That reselling was supplemented. So you go back, you start thinking like, what can I do? What I went to school for, but I could do it online, right? So I mean, a lot of possibilities, right?
Yeah. And I think we, you know, in all of the jobs that we do, if it's a specialized job or a more generalized job, like there's so many things that you have like within your job description, but then there's all the other skills, and then there's like soft skills, there's communication, like there's writing, there's so many things that you pick up. And I think that all of those skills help you along the way in whatever path you decide to take.
Yeah. Yeah, well, Ashley, first of all, what I'm gonna tell you is I love you because you use your hands like me. Sometimes I'm so like mine is like that Philly thing, you know. My husband's like, you use your hands and you talk so fast. So it's great to see someone else.
Musical theater. I'm like, just hands. How can I use them?
Well, I don't know if she's on here, but I was watching my friend Daniela yesterday too, and she was using her hands. And someone actually put that on their stories where she was going like this, and they're like, she's Italian. She's first generation Italian, but so she's using her hands. So I don't feel bad when I see other people. I'm gonna say hi to some people who just joined us. Let me scroll on up. Let me scroll up. I'm evolving.
I'm going to see if I can do anything while you introduce people.
The Grateful Queen, my good friend Quimby. Hey, there's Duncan. What is going on? He said, I got 6 channels. Wait. I got 6 channels live at the same time. Which one do I watch? Just go back and forth.
I love that. Everyone.
Courageously Thriving, who's Michelle. Thank you, friends, for joining us. I really appreciate you so much. This is Ashley. Ashley, I've been following Ashley for a while. And then I was like, why hasn't she been on my channel? And so here she is. Ashley is in Canada, and she sells, did they call it Poshmark Canada?
Yeah, yes, it is. It's the same app, but it is separate, just because Poshmark, like, you can only sell from Canada to Canadians and US to US. Hopefully that cross-border that they keep promising us at PoshFest every year will come eventually.
No. We'll see about that.
We'll see about that. And yeah, so I sell on Poshmark in Canada, and I just started on eBay like 3 days ago.
Wow, we'll do that in a minute. I'm going to write eBay down on my paper. So how did you get started on Poshmark?
Yeah, so I had known about Poshmark for a long time from other bloggers, and like I'd heard about it, and they had a wait list going. So they were like, sign up for more information if you want to learn when Poshmark launches in Canada. Mm-hmm. So May June 2019, I got the email and they were like, Poshmark is here. And I was like, yes, I am signing up. And I took photos and then I took them wrong and took them again. And it was great. And then I didn't do anything with Poshmark for 3 months. I just like sat there. They just like, and then I don't know, something clicked for me in like September 2019 where I was like, oh yeah, that Poshmark thing that I signed up for that I was really excited about. Like I should really do that. And that was what sparked my like actual interest. And like, I'm the type of person who, when I learn about something, I like go deep. And that was when I discovered like YouTubers who were talking about Poshmark and Instagram accounts who were talking about Poshmark. And I sold my first thing. And I thought I was just going to sell like my own personal items. Like that was my original intention. And then after I sold that first item, I was like, oh no, this is like a thing now. And yeah, it just sort of, it escalated from there. I became an ambassador. We had a Posh Party live in Toronto in November of 2019. And so I spoke on a panel there. I met my PFF Martha at that panel and I just, she's the best. And it just kind of exploded from there.
Yeah, those Posh Party lives are awesome, aren't they? It's like you get to meet so many local people. Like I'm pretty sure in Canada that must have been really amazing because here we kind of took it for granted. Because honestly, 2019 was my year as well. Like I had been selling on Poshmark since 2016, but I worked and then I came home full time in 2018. And then I saw them in October 2018 talk about something called Posh Fest. I'm like, what is this Posh Fest? How did I miss that? And then it was like, oh, I can watch a little bit on like Facebook. But I'm like, oh, I want to be there next year. I need to find out what is going on. And that's what I did. I said to my husband, what? And that was, I think it was in Texas or something. It was in Dallas, I think. And then in January of 2019, I started hearing about these Posh and Sips, and I'm like, oh, I need to get to some of these things. And that's what I started doing. And like Poshmark is such a great social app. I mean, the selling aside, like you already mentioned, you met your PFF, like it is one of the best experiences. Talk about that experience from then to now. Like, how has it grown for you? How many people have you met? What has been your selling experience? I want to know it all.
So, I wholeheartedly agree, Leslie. Like, the community is probably the most unexpected thing that came out of Poshmark for me. Like, I just thought I was going to sell some of my clothes that, had been sitting in my closet, didn't fit, I didn't wear anymore. But it has turned into something so much bigger than that. And I think the community is such an instrumental part of that. So Posh Party Live was amazing. I think there was only 2 or 3 that happened in Canada, obviously, before things stopped because of the pandemic. So that was really special. Met some great people there. I hosted an in-person Posh and Sip, like, I think 2 days after that Posh Party Live. Like, I was in. Like, I was like, I'm doing this.
Nice.
All the way. I've met some great people through Posh and Coffees, like online ones this last year. And then also just like connecting with other reselling YouTubers like yourself and other people in the Instagram community. Like, it's so amazing to have other folks to talk to this wild thing called reselling that we do. Because I know my partner, he doesn't care what I found at Value Village. And like, that I paid $7 for these shoes that I'm going to flip for 95.
Yeah.
Like, he doesn't care. Like, he's like, great, that's lovely. But like, it's not the same. And, I mentioned Martha, and she's so special. And we met at that Posh Party Live, and we realized that we had so much more in common. We had this like thing that was in common, like reselling, but then we had so much more in common outside of that as well. And like, I text her every day, pretty much. We've only ever been in the same room, I feel like, twice, that Posh Party Live and then another Posh and Sip, because then the pandemic happened to change things up. But, she's become like one of my very closest friends. And we got to speak at Posh Fest together this year, which was like, speaking at Posh Fest was one of my 2020 goals that I actually achieved, which was wild because how much everything changed. But the icing on the cake, like the gold star, was being able to do it with Martha. Like, that was so special.
Yeah. Posh Fest is phenomenal. I mean, you can go in person. It's going to be the ultimate. Like, it really is. I mean, I don't know if and what I would love for them to do, they can do a Posh Fest Canada. They can do a Posh Fest East Coast, West Coast, because they only do it here on the West Coast. They did it in Texas that one year, but I think Manish just said that there are more people on the West Coast, and he did a test. We were in the room. It was like 1,600 people in the room at Posh Fest 2019. And he said, okay, you know, he's telling different people to stand up. And he said, if you're from the West Coast, half the room stood up, you know, and he was like, this is why we can't really keep it on the East Coast, and especially to host this many people, right? And to ensure that a certain amount of people will come to the East Coast. And I'm like, well, you can do both. Just like you do a Posh Party live in every city, just about, you should be able to break the coast up. Because I would go to both, honestly. But to give people who, you know, you know what I'm saying? I would come to Canada. Like, I would stop my son is in upstate New York. Yeah, my son is stationed in upstate New York. I would just cross the border and get myself
like, no, come when it's safe to do so. Whatever. Totally. Yeah. And I mean, I think like, because I had gone so far deep into Poshmark, like at the end of 2019, like Martha and I were like texting about Posh Fest in 2020. We were going to take a road trip. There was going to be thrifting involved. Like we were so excited. And she had actually gone to Posh Fest in 2019 as like a brand new baby reseller. And I just love that story about her. I can't stop talking about her. She's going to watch this back and she's going to be like, Ashley loves you so much. It's true. But like, I was just ready, like to go to Posh Fest and connect with these people because, as we've said, like a couple of times, like this community is so special. And, you know, I want to meet all of you, all of my American friends.
I know.
Talk to you on the daily.
Yeah, well, I already, that's my goal, to get over to Canada. I want to travel as many places as I can just to kind of make these connections, because it's just been so fun. And I'm like you, this community that I have, it's been built up of people that I haven't met. Out of the, if you think in terms of Instagram, the almost 22,000 people who are in my community, if I've met in person 20 or 30, you know, but really spent time with people in person is the key. Because Posh Fest, when you go to those parties, it gets overwhelming. You know, and then you get home and go, who did I meet? Did I meet that person? They look familiar, you know, or then everyone's using hashtags. And I'm like, when I went to Posh Party Live Philly, I didn't see half the people there. And then they started posting pictures up, and I would send them messages. Oh man, I missed you. I didn't see you. I'm from Philly. It's 35 minutes away from my house, especially where the hotel was. But I'm like, but you can't see everyone, and it's very overwhelming. So imagine going to Posh Fest with 1,600 people. It was awesome and crazy, scary, and all that good stuff. All the people that you envision seeing, you see them and more. So that is like pretty cool. I'm going to say hi to some people. Hello, everyone. Stephanie K, what's going on? Stephanie Emma, hello. Loved, reloved, cool name. Unequal match. Hey, Carla, what's going on, girlfriend? 22 Thurmans. Such fun. Okay, this is Quimby, the Grateful Queen. If you guys aren't following Quimby, you should be. I totally agree. I need to talk to other resellers because they really get it like no one else. I can't believe I went so long without knowing you all. And that is really interesting that this community exists, right? So let's talk about eBay first. Why did you decide to start eBay? Like you're like cringing.
I'm cringing because I'm like 3 days into eBay and all I'm getting is, hello, I would like to purchase this, but can you text me? I'm like, no, I will not text you, scammer.
That's because you're new.
I know what I'm doing. So I yell a lot. Really passionate. No, I got on. Oh, Mara's here. She's saying hi. Martha, you missed all the love. You're gonna have to go back and watch the replay. Shop Style Affinity. That's Martha. She's the best. Okay, so I got on eBay because right now we have Poshmark in Canada. There's only 1 million users on Poshmark in Canada. Like it's not like the 70 million users that are in Poshmark in the US. Like we have a smaller audience, and eBay opens up a way for me to sell to both Canada and the US. Like there's just so many users on eBay, and I'm like, let's diversify, let's try it, see how it goes. Like, what's the worst that can happen? Right now I'm just getting lots of spammy messages and just starting to list and see how it goes. Like
Yeah.
If it sucks, it sucks. If it fails, that's okay. But like, if I end up selling things on that platform, like that's awesome. So that's why I got started on eBay. And like, as I said, like 3 days in, I have, I think like 9 listings now, and just like trying to add a few each day.
Add stuff to it, yeah. And so I'm going to tell you. So eBay was the platform that brought me home. When I decided to come home full time, I was selling on Poshmark first. My husband was already eBay. So you were talking about like your partner. My husband, we can talk about everything because that's how I got started, because he was a reseller. That was our connection. And so he was on eBay and he was always saying weird stuff. So I was like, yeah, teach me what you do, but let me find something that works for me. So I started on Poshmark and then another app called Vinted. And I was working and Vinted just took too much of my time. So I stayed with Poshmark and it was just very casual. But when I decided to come home, eBay was the way to go. So I immediately opened up 2 stores. Now, ask me why, I don't know. But I found out later that I know why, because it helped me make a lot of money. And I was able to whittle down that 6-month goal to leave my job to 3 months. I was able to walk away. I saved in a massive amount of money, an emergency plan, because I wrote everything down and sat down with my husband and said, look, this is what I want to do. And he was like, you can do it. And so after I got deep into eBay, I was like, I can put all this attention over at Poshmark, because eBay is just kind of, it was just, especially when you're really, if you're not like, I wasn't so passionate about reselling. I just happen to like Poshmark, and I can understand the relationship that people have and the hesitancy that they have about going from Poshmark to another platform. I totally get it. So it's easy for someone to say, just do it, especially if someone who's been selling on eBay and now they sell on Poshmark. That is so different. It's just that Poshmark comfort level. They embrace you, and in a sense, they kind of spoil you. But when you first started, that was not your intention to go to eBay, right?
No, because as I said, when I started Poshmark, like I really just expected to like sell a few things in my closet that I thought were more valuable than just donating.
Right.
So that was my intention. I was like, I'm just going to sell, I used to wear a lot of dresses. I still do, but like I sometimes wear jeans, but I had all these amazing dresses and I'm like, I could donate them, but I think they're worth a little bit more. And so that's why I started Poshmark. So yeah, so signing up for eBay and like, starting on other platforms, like that was never my intention. So this year I'm like, cool, I'm going to try eBay, see how it goes.
Yes.
And it is like Poshmark does spoil you. Like going from, I can understand how going from eBay and going to Poshmark, you'd be like, yeah, so easy.
Seriously.
Other way though, other way. It is not, there are so many fields, there's so many options, there's like so many randos telling me that I should text them, and I'm like, please go away. Like it makes me want just like the people messaging me on Poshmark being like, is this available? And I'm like, no, it's still available. Hello, how are you?
I know it's like sitting there, right? But this is so eBay definitely that was aside from the fees, the fields. I was like, you know what? It wasn't my business model. So I said, you know what? I'm selling on Poshmark. Then I started selling on Etsy again because I was a handmade seller for years, walked away and came back. And I said, you know what? I don't need eBay because it was just a lot going on. And then I gave it up for a little bit. But when I went to Posh Fest, I said, you know what? I need to make some money really quick. So I paid for my ticket in May, and then I paid for my airfare to go and not come back. And so I said, you know what? I need to make about $500 because I need that money. So I needed it for my Airbnb. I needed it for my flight back. And I wanted to make sure I had enough money for Uber and just for food. And so I got on eBay and I made all the money and went right into my PayPal. I have a PayPal debit card, and that's what I use for Uber and everything. And then when I came back from Posh Fest, I said, I'm done with eBay. So fast forward, but let me tell you real quick. Fast forward, I said, now I use List Perfectly for my cross listing. And so I said, you know what? Let me just give it a try. So I started back on eBay at the last 2 weeks in November. And if you see the YouTube video that I put out, I made over $1,000. I'm already up to today. I just hit 49 sales, close to $2,000. And so people can do it. But then I opened up another store because my other stores were closed. Like I had closed them. So thankfully, because when I first started selling, I was Leslie's Fashion Boutique. I wasn't even a reseller's passion. So I turned my current store into, I was able to get a reseller's passion. And then I listened to Chris from Daily Refinement talking about, okay, you should have a specific, I love Chris. I met him at Flash Fest. You should have a specific niche, right? And so I'm already, my biggest selling platform is my vintage Etsy store. So I said, you know what? Smart idea 2 weeks ago, open up a brand new eBay store, only vintage, and cross list. But what you were saying, the spammers, that's because it's a brand new store. Every person was a spammer. Today, I got my first real sale. Like they actually paid cash. And I said, wait a minute, let me go check. Yeah, and it was real, but it'll happen. So just add more stuff. But it is because you're brand new. And you don't know what you're doing.
Yeah. And I'm like, have you seen my photos? I know what I'm doing. And here's a fun thing. Y'all in America are like, just use List Perfectly, use Vendu. None of those work in Canada yet.
List Perfectly, Vendu, what is going on? I am calling you out right now. List Perfectly, this is from your affiliate, Leslie. Hello. Who else is here on List Perfectly? Let's call them out. Or right. Josh and Thomas, somebody's gonna jump on it.
Yeah. Martha and I, we had a session at the beginning of January, and we were talking about our goals, and we were talking about cross-listing, and Martha actually started a conversation with List Perfectly, myself and her, being like, hey, y'all in Canada yet? And they're like, not yet. And I recognize it, like things in Canada are a little bit different, like our Poshmark reporting, it's a little bit different. When we download our sales report from Poshmark, there's a little C in front of our dollar sign because we use the same dollar sign as all of you, but there's a C. And so, and I can understand that like things are different in Canada. And as a Canadian, I understand this because that's been my whole life where I'm like, yes, things are different in Canada. But I would just, I'd love to see List Perfectly. I'd love to see Vendu or like some other disruptor come in.
I'm so surprised that some Posher or someone in Canada has not come up with it because it's not like they're in competition. List Perfectly and Vendu has knocked out all those other. I mean, there's a couple of apps coming up here and there. I don't worry about them because they're too body for me. I want that Chrome extension. I will take it because that, and Poshmark has a relationship with List Perfectly, and Josh and Thomas were at Posh Fest in 2019. So that relationship is there. So there's nothing sketchy. But someone in Canada, hello, Canada.
Yeah, I'm sure it'll come, but we're slightly behind. I mean, Poshmark has only been in Canada a year and a half. Like we're still like a little baby in terms of Poshmark, and that's totally okay. But I would love to see it happen. And so that's why eBay, I'm just like sitting there filling in all my fields, like manually finding all my photos, doing all the things.
As soon as you find it, and I don't know if any of these apps, because there are some apps that do it. So if anyone knows of the apps, I hear people talking about them a lot. A couple people, and I can reach out after this in my mind, and I can't think of it now, that they talk about apps and where they can, cross list and do some things. So we could probably find something because an app is different than the Chrome extension and all that other kind of stuff. So you never know. But yes, there is a difference because I'm going like, oh yeah, you only have 9. Whereas my goal was I started my new eBay on a Monday and I told myself by Friday, I have to have 100 listings. And because I have lists, I have
yeah. And you can do that. But also remember, I'm part-time too, right? So
yes.
Being a part-time reseller means that, I work like 9 to 4-ish most days, 9 to 5-ish. But like, that means, in the morning, I basically share my closet. I kind of like do my social media check-ins and go engage there. At lunchtime, I'll go share my closet. Today at lunch, I filmed a haul video. I did not plan it well because I had a meeting at 1 o'clock. And so it was like 12:51. And I'm like, and I'm like eating like cheese and crackers. I'm like, this is fine. This is delicious. And then in the evenings when, I basically list things, I will engage with other YouTubers. I will do research. I will check comps. And then like on the weekend is when I spend a lot of time like taking my photos and filming YouTube videos and editing them and doing all those things. And so for me, my goal was like get 20 things up on eBay by the end of January. And so I'm almost halfway there, which is great. But I think as a part-time reseller, it's like, yes, I have these big goals and aspirations, but I need to keep myself in check because I also need to like sleep.
Yeah.
I also need to exercise.
Yes.
Spend time with my partner and like, like maybe read a book or like watch Netflix sometimes and like.
Yeah, that's my deal too. Yeah. And see, I'm home full time, but I don't consider myself a full-time reseller. I consider myself a full-time I'm an entrepreneur because I have other things that I'm doing. I'm moving in May, so I've actually put some things on hold because I don't want to overwhelm myself. Like at the end of the year, like in October, I said, you know what? I'm just going to resell because, I have an ebook out there. I have 2 ebooks, and I do consultations and I do lives and a whole lot of other stuff. And the YouTube is creative because I'm a creative person. So I do it from just to get that creative outlet going, and then people show up. So I think that's cool. So I don't have the pressure like other people, like, oh, it has to be perfect. I have to have the views. I have to have that. I'm like, you build it, they'll come. Like one day YouTube will say, oh, wow, like that video, and it'll be picked up and I'll get 1 million views. It's not a big deal. It's like my reels. I put out a reel today. The reel only got 500, but then last week it got 7,000. It is what it is. You know what I'm saying? I'm just having fun. So, but I work a little bit and I take a break. And since I'm moving, I said, you know what? I'm going to I have some books that I'm working on. I'm going to put that crazy stuff on hold and just resell full time. Plus that's actually giving me, some ideas of some things I want to write because of the experiments I'm doing. Like I got back on eBay. I'm like, is it going to give me a headache? You know what I'm saying? Am I going to fuss? Am I going to, one thing that has saved the day is managed payments, which I like. So after you get to a certain level, it'll be managed payments. So it'll no longer be fees. Once you get paid, all the fees come out and you get paid your actual money. I love it. I mean, like, and I was telling my husband because he left, he didn't like the fees, and I explained to him about managed payments and also like your bill. Like my bill came up, and I'm like, what am I doing with a bill? Nope, it was all taken care of because it's ingrained in that managed payment. So that's going to be the cool thing too.
I love that. That's awesome.
A little bit about wait, let me say hi to some friends. I saw a couple of people jump on. I saw Brittany. Hello, Brittany. I keep forgetting Brittany changed her name. Brittany all bossed up. Christy Blocker. Hey, Philly. Okay. Those are all the new friends. Okay. So tell everybody about YouTube and where they can find you and what kind of content are you creating over there and here.
Yeah, here on YouTube. You can find me, my first and last name, Ashley Gibson. And earlier in the stream, I talked about not being the UFC fighter, Ashley Gibson. He is a man and he might have like a black eye, but I don't in my videos. I started on YouTube last January, at the beginning of 2020, because I had started reselling and I started watching a ton of other reselling content, but there weren't any or like many Canadian YouTubers and talking about reselling specifically, especially on Poshmark. And I was like, okay, you know what? I'm going to do this because I am really excited about reselling. I had done a lot of social media before, but YouTube was never something that I had really delved into. And so I was interested in doing that. And it just seemed like a really fun, creative outlet. So I started my channel in January. My partner was in Hong Kong visiting his family. He comes back and I'm like, so I've started a YouTube channel. Okay, cool, honey, great. And that was how I got started. And so on my channel, I talk mostly about reselling through a Canadian lens, but like, I think anyone watching it can hopefully gain value from it as well. There are some things that are different in Canada, like the brands that have available. Shipping. Do you know our flat rate shipping in Canada is $12.99 on Poshmark?
I've heard that. I've heard arguments on that level. Yeah.
So when y'all complain about your $7 or whatever it is, think of me. Think of me telling you about $12.99. Yeah. So like the brands we have are different. Like the shipping is different. It's a smaller market, but it's growing. Like I think at Poshfest, they now said we're over 1 million users, and that's just in like a year, which is wild. But Canada's a big country, and so there's still tons of people who don't know about Poshmark yet. So I think there's like a really big opportunity. So, things are different. So that was why I started my channel. I got really excited about YouTube kind of in the beginning, and then the pandemic hit, and then I was like leaving my job. I had some health stuff, and like, and I've said this to you before, Leslie, like something I love about you and your channels is like, you're so real and authentic and you're yourself. For me, I like to bring that as well to my YouTube and to my social media. But there was days last summer where I was like, I can't do it. Like I can't be on enough to make a video right now.
Right.
So things kind of slowed down a little bit, but then in the fall I was like, nope, YouTube, here it goes. And now I'm like really jazzed and excited about it again. So yeah, so you can find me Ashley Gibson talking about reselling, thrift hauls, tips and tricks. Occasionally I do like a random unboxing of other stuff, but I'm just having fun over there. And
Yeah.
cool.
Yeah. Because I'm like, first of all, Ashley has the best lighting. And then I actually sent her a message one day, like, so what camera are you using? Because like Quimby will get a kick out of this because Quimby just got a camera. She's using her phone. Like I use my phone, but she's got that beautiful 12. She and Daniela, right, with the 12. And the camera's like smack in the middle, whereas mine, it's still I'm still trying to turn it to make sure it gets, that I'm not looking. And then I say, oh, I'm still looking. You know what? That's it. No matter what, I'm still going to use this phone. I'm paying the bill. My phone is everything, and that's the cool thing that I also want resellers to understand is like, start from what you have. Your phone, if you're paying that bill, use it for everything. It is literally a computer, a calculator, your calendar, all your apps are on there. You can run a business from your phone. You can take videos, iMovie, download it to YouTube. You can do everything from that phone. Don't get anxious. Don't get excited. Use what you have until you are making enough money to justify spending it on anything else. And I believe that 100%. What about you, Ashley?
I 100% agree. I think do that until you're making enough money, but also when you know that you like it enough.
Yeah.
Like, I think it's so like, and Leslie and I were talking a little bit about this before we got on the live, but it's like you can get distracted by the shiny objects, and it's like, well, I'm not going to start YouTube until I have a fancy camera, or I'm not going to start reselling until I have a ring light, or there's so many things that we could put in that category. And it's like, start with what you have and use what you have. Before I got my 12, I had my iPhone XR, and that's what I was filming my videos on. And was it the greatest? No. But did it do the trick? Absolutely.
Sure.
And, that was what got me started and got me to, whatever, like 400, 500 subscribers. I got a new iPhone because I was excited about it. I can count it as a business expense. And, just as you said, Leslie, like it can be used for so many things. So like use what you have, start there, and then add things in if you need them.
If you need them. Exactly. And that really is it. Like I do have some lights here and I fuss at them a little bit because I prefer natural light. And I even with taking my photos, I have a lighting kit. I don't have a ring light. I don't like the way I have a lighting kit, and that is 2 years old. I have no plans on purchasing another one. And I got that baby at probably the lowest price of $45. Like one day I went to Amazon and that was on sale, and I started saving, and I was like, hopefully in 2 weeks it's still on sale because I'm saving. I was saving money. Like I do like the layaway plan. I grew up in a household where my mother was like, we didn't have any money. So everything that I do, even if still in my head, I'll go to Amazon and put stuff in my cart, or I'll put it in. I have a wait list for myself, a wish list. And then when I'm ready for it, I'll put it into the cart and then I'll slowly save for it. I hardly ever just go and buy something. I have to be intentional about it. And so I encourage everyone to do that. What is Quimby saying here? So Quimby says, I've been on YouTube 18 months and do all my videos on my phone, but I did buy myself. She bought herself a Canon M50 for Christmas. Hoorah! That's that.
I don't know what those words mean, but it sounds really exciting.
That's the Boston, thing she's got.
I'm like, Canon M50. Ooh, it sounds exciting. I don't know.
For me, well, this is my funny story. My daughter, Stacy, she's Peach Boutique on Poshmark. She's been selling for 2 years, I think. But she has 3 lifestyle YouTube channels. She and her fiance have one, and she has a beauty one, and I forget what the other one is. And she started off with just her phone. And then she went and got a used Nikon, is that how we say it? And then she purchased another one. She saved and she purchased, she takes beautiful photos and everything, and she uses that same thing. She's way better at all this than I am. The young people usually are. She's not even 25 yet, right? So she's like, Mom, yeah, I have this camera. I said, well, what did you do with the other camera you have? She says, oh, the lens. I think something's wrong with the lens, but you can, take it if you want. I've had that camera for 1.5 years. And I was like, yeah, I'm good. I think I'm just going to sell it. I'm like, so my attraction is not for a camera like that. If I can, and I said to my husband, I said, sweetie, so if we upgrade our plan, if I get a 12, is that going to mess with the money? I don't want to mess with anything because my thing is I pay a certain amount of money, regardless if it's an iPhone or not. I'm like, if it goes over this, sweetie, we're not negotiating. I'll hold on to that phone another year. Because that's how it was with my 8 Plus. And I was like, okay, he surprised me and he got that for me. And he had an Android. And then this last year, he got the iPhone 11s. And then my girls were already paying for their own phones. I don't buy kids' phones. And so he was able to get a plan. But I said, would it mess everyone up if I get a 12? And he was like, well, what do you need? What would you like? What would you do? I said, I can take better videos. Okay. See, because he knows it's not even a question, right? Yeah. He's like, okay, that sounds like a good plan. And I was like, yeah, because I said, oh yeah, because Ashley has one. And I said, Daniela has one, and I like their videos. Like Daniela had been waiting for hers. She wasn't even doing her channel. And I was like, she's like, I have to get a new phone because my phone, died. And as soon as her 12 came, she went right back into her videos. And I'm like, look at the quality though, not in a way. I mean, he doesn't care. Like we don't share money or anything. So it's like I'm paying him for it. I just don't want it to throw off the family plan. How that was my thing. and I just tell him it's for business. Okay.
Yeah, no, I love it. And but I think the point there is just really use what you have and start there. And I take all of my Poshmark photos on my phone. And I mean, the 12 is fantastic. It is a great phone. It's doing the job, but that's how I take all my Poshmark photos, how I take my videos, how I do all my social media. I do a ton on it. And so, yeah, it's great.
I love it. I mean, look, Stephanie says I use our 5-year-old's iPhone 6. Are using themselves. I love it.
Yeah,
for real. It's nothing. I mean, and what happens? I mean, but the people who are selling the phones, they're doing their job. They're marketing, and so that's what we want. We want the shiny new toy. Like PS5 just came out. It's a game, I assume. And so my son came home he's in the Army. He surprised me and came home. And he was like, they had just went on sale. Mom, can you believe these people want to pay all this money? He was like, mine is 5 years old. It's still good. Why should I get? I was like, see, that's my son that I raised right there.
I love that. So I actually got my partner a PS5. I sat on the computer on opening day, and the website that I was on was there was bad things happening. And but I was so persistent that I was like, I'm going to get him one. And then it 2 hours later, it got to a point where it was I was able to click the button and I ordered it, and I was in awe until the thing arrived. I don't believe that I got one. And then my partner, I saw him later. I was like, so I wanted to surprise you, but I'm not, because I can't keep a secret. And I bought PS5, but I need to tell you all that I went through to get it for you.
The struggle was real.
Oh my gosh. There was a point where there was a weird coffee cup on the screen at EV Games. And I was like, what? I don't, it's so broken. It looks like a website from 2001. And I was I am somehow paying a lot of money to buy this thing, and I don't trust it because there's an image of a coffee. I don't know. Anyway.
It's hysterical. But I'm telling you, these people were buying these games.
Oh yeah.
They were selling them. I've never got the understanding of the craziness of all that. And I'm like, if it's for somebody else, that's perfect and all. But I'm like, but I'm like, why though?
Yeah, people were very excited. People were also very angry. And, there's a ton of resellers who managed to get their hands on more than one, and they're selling them. And, people are getting angry at them. And anyway, it's a supply and demand thing, right?
I've never been the one for I can see buying it for someone, but I've never been on gotten on any fad. I've never bought the Starbucks cups or anything like that. I'm like, it's fast money. It's going to go real quick. Let me just stay in my lane and continue doing what I'm doing. Find that thing right. I'm in vintage right now. That's the stuff to sell. And if y'all want something that's going to continue to sell, get you some vintage stuff. Okay. Seriously. And because I'll go oh my gosh, these people are buying never in my life would I pay $80 for a Starbucks cup. I'm sorry.
It's aggressive. It is
it is not that serious, dude.
Yeah. The Starbucks cups, they're confusing to me. Yeah. No, to each their own.
But it's confusing to me. I go all the way back to the Cabbage Patch. I mean, in the Beanie Baby stuff all that stuff. I'm like, yeah, but it's not that serious. And now that everything's accessible, you can get it. Elmo. I remember all those things that were I just don't understand it. I still don't understand. I never have understood that, but it is, the more people say they're different, they continue to be the same because it's like, I gotta have that. But yeah, I would buy something as a gift, but not to get stand in line, get a whole bunch of stuff and resell it. And because I don't want to gouge the prices on people, So I just
Yeah. On that day, I almost could have bought 2 or 3 by accident, just because I didn't even know it was my card. So I could have made a lot of money that day, but I didn't. But my partner was very happy. Like, he was in shock.
That's what matters.
Yeah, no, he was like, I wasn't expecting to buy one for like a few months, and like, I made his day. That was really nice.
That's awesome. Yeah, my future son-in-law, Jose, he was able to get one. And he was saying, yeah, but I didn't think about it. He said, after I got mine, my man got some, and he got like 5 of them, and he's going to sell them. I'm like, I'm like, first of all, you're engaged to a reseller, first of all, but relax. It didn't happen. So, I mean, he was serious too. But when he got his, he did a post on Facebook, and his friends were like, man, just that. I said, see, now you're famous. Just that one made you famous, because everybody's like, how'd you get that?
Oh my gosh. We were famous in our building. So we live in a condo, and all of our packages go to our concierge, and our daytime security guard. His name is Rod. We love Rod. He's delightful. And I got a phone call. I was actually thrifting, and I got a random phone call, and he was like, Ashley, I was like, hi. He was like, I have a very special package for you, because he was like, there was like a few, I guess, that had arrived in our building, and he was like, I need you to come pick this up as soon as possible, because I don't want to be responsible for it. And the poor guy, he had ordered one, and he had to wait like 2 weeks for his to arrive. I was like watching all these others come in, and I was like, I accidentally ordered that yesterday. I just did it. Like, I don't know. So it's really funny.
That is really funny. Let me say hi to a couple of friends. Ashley, you're hysterical. Chandra, my girl Glow came in. I saw when she popped in. Our Heart's Delight. Hello. What are you saying over here, Carla? Carla says, yes, use what you have, and when you start making money, you can start buying more for your business. Yes. Carla and her husband, Michael, and her twins over there, they are kicking butt. My good friend, Lori Tater, just came in. Hello, Lori. What's going on, friend? I miss you so much. You're going to have to come on. Let's see. Awesome. Multitasking, right?
Love that. I am here for that.
I love it. So Ashley, let's talk about Instagram, because that's where we're meeting a lot of people. The community is really growing. I know when I first got started, I started my first video on YouTube. It actually is a year. The fourth was actually, I think the fourth was a year when I just sat down, 2 years, 2019, I sat down and just introduced myself. I said, I need some friends. I'm lonely. I left my job, and oh my gosh, no one ever was my friend. I was like, over 50 would be good, but like, I would really just love
over 50, but really anyone.
I know, seriously, be careful what you ask for. And then the community was just like, whoosh, we're here. And I'm like, wow, there were people out there doing the same thing I'm doing. And that was like not my goal. And so here we are 2 years later. It's like actually my 2-year anniversary from when like everything started for me.
I love that.
I just thought about that as I'm talking to you. Amazing. So when did you start on Instagram, and what was your intention on starting, and how is it going for you now?
I started on Instagram in 2012. Because I was already on social media. I had a blog at that point. I was on Twitter. And I joined this new thing called Instagram. But like for a long time, it was just like my personal Instagram. It was like I would snap a photo with a terrible filter and a border of my friends and I when we were going out. Yeah. I didn't use the captions really, hashtags weren't a thing. And I mean, the thing about my online presence is that it's followed my journey through a lot of different communities. And so there are people who are still on my Instagram from like 2012, 2013, which is wild to me, because I feel like I've had such an interesting journey and transformation. Like, I'm still the same person at the core of it all, but my interests have changed over the years. So like at one point it was very fitness and health related and food related. There are topics that I've continued to talk about over the years. Like I have Crohn's disease. And so I talk openly about having Crohn's and my experience with that. I talk about grief and mental health, those kinds of things. But like my interests have changed. So I think just when, things changed for me when it came to taking reselling more seriously, my Instagram started to pivot a little bit that way, but I still talk about a lot of other things. I still talk about my health. I still talk about grief. I still talk about mental health. I still talk about like the day-to-day of Ashley. So it's just kind of like grown and evolved over time. And I think in the past couple of months, really, I've just really gotten serious about like being intentional about trying to grow it. And that's been really great because it's connected me to amazing people like you and just, so many other great people in the community. And just as we've talked about like so many times over this live stream, in the chat, like this community is so special. And so it's really cool to see what other people are buying. It's really cool to see other people reaching their goals, other people talking about their day-to-day struggles, but then also getting to know them outside of the context of reselling and getting to know that like inside human. And like, that's my favorite thing.
Yeah. See, that's why we connected, because that's what every day I show up as that authentic person, right? And just being transparent. And because that's my goal every day. Like, what picture or what can I put out there to convey how I'm feeling or what I'm doing, because someone else is doing the same thing or maybe feeling the same thing. And then having that call to action, explaining what I'm doing, and then having that call to action within the post so that people can connect with each other. For me, it's all about connections. And that's why we're here live. I tell people are always like, oh, how can I grow my Instagram? And I just say, show up. Honestly, show up. It's like, don't sell. If you show up intentionally selling, I mean, we all start like that. Like when I started mine in 2018, it wasn't anything. Yeah, this is what I sold on Poshmark. Yeah, here's my Depop stuff. And then finally I was like, you know what? I don't want anybody selling to me. How about if I turn it around, just like you were saying, do something different? And then when I found that there was a true community out there, I intentionally started showing up. And what I find is what most people forget is as you're building your community, the people who want to buy from you are ingrained in that community as well. We forget that even though we're Poshmark sellers, that a customer is someone who is actually in our community. Even on the app, we're buying from each other. So when you show up, you should just show up as your true authentic person, because I don't want to know, I don't want them to know I got it from there. And I'm like, I could really care less. I share everything. I share where I got it from, where I'm sourcing from. Everyone has their own thing, because it's not like I'm going to fly, I'm going to go over to Canada and come to your, thrift store.
I mean, you could.
I mean, I would come. It's like, people don't get that. It's like, like you're in Canada, and for you not to say, oh yeah, I went to the value thrift, because you're afraid that somebody's going to come to the value thrift. So that disconnection, that's the disconnection that I don't like. To me, that breaks down a community. But then again, everybody has to work at their level. Like, I have no problem saying, yeah, I got it from B&G. I got it from ThreadUp. I'm a Joe Moore affiliate. Oh, I tried out this new place. My friend Quimby's like that, and a lot of other people. Because we want to share. It's more than enough for everyone. But then also, people start seeing you, which I get a lot, is, oh, I'm such a fan. Don't fan me, friend me, just be my friend. Like when you see me, go, there she is, that's my best friend right there. There she is, Leslie. Because I prefer that, instead of you approaching me like, oh yeah, so I've been following you for a long time. And how did you get to 20,000? You know how I just showed up every single day, just being myself. And and people, they're like, no, it has to be something else. Nope, that's it. No. I didn't buy anything. I didn't follow for follow. I didn't follow and unfollow. I just show it. It surprises me probably more than it surprises the other people.
Yeah. But I think there's something really to that, like, authenticity piece. And, I think with social media, like, you get to show up in whatever way you want, and you get to share as much or as little as you want. You get to share it when you want to share it. And something that I've really gained from social media is just connecting to people in different communities. And by sharing different parts of my journey, not just reselling, but other aspects of my life, like, I will get messages from people because they saw me talk about my Crohn's. And so I have Crohn's disease. It's part of the inflammatory bowel disease family. It's an autoimmune disease. And I've had it for like 12 years. And in 2019, I got really sick again. And so I kind of had to like pivot what I've been doing when it comes to my treatment. And I talk pretty openly about that. And like, it's a difficult aspect of my life. And, if someone just like hopped on my Instagram one day and like saw me, I'd probably be talking like this and be like, good morning, happy Saturday. Hope you have, like, that's literally me.
Yeah.
And you wouldn't necessarily know, oh, she's got an autoimmune disease. But by like connecting with my content, they might see that. And like, I think that connects you on another level, because people are like, oh, she realizes what I'm going through because, you know, I have IBD or I have another condition. And so I think, and those connections are really special because we don't necessarily have those people in our day-to-day lives who might also, you know, be a reseller, who might also have IBD, who might also, you know, have had XYZ same life experience. And so I think that that's a really cool element of social media, that when you bring your authentic self, you can show up in that way and other people like just gravitate towards it.
Yeah, I agree with you 100%. And this is like for the people in the comments, like Ashley said, she has an autoimmune disease, Crohn's, totally opposite of my autoimmune disease, which is alopecia. That's why I don't have any hair. So it's amazing. Your body just attacks and it decides every kind of condition on its own. So it is amazing. And I totally agree with you. I actually had started talking about alopecia because people kind of just thought that this was a fashion statement for me. It is now because I'm bald, but and they would like, so when I started talking about it, like I did like an alopecia awareness post, and that really, people were like, oh my gosh, really? And so from talking about my alopecia, I actually created another page called Am I Really Bald? I haven't been it's actually been there a while. I haven't been as active, and I have a podcast and I have a YouTube, and I'm actually the YouTube, I decided to turn it into my lifestyle blog. So I'm going to be doing that and kind of reaching, my whole thing is I want to reach over 50 women of color, women, you know, just motivate women. I meet so many women who were like me. Like I had 5 children. But I also, when I had them, discover who I was. I want people to know who they are right now in the space that they are. It doesn't matter if you have 10 children, if you're single, if you just have cats or whatever, to know who you are. I think it's really important. And I tell people, yes, I'm not there anymore because my youngest just turned 18, but I lived through that. I've been divorced. I've had relationship challenges. I share all of that. And I share it not just for me, but for the people who need it and the messages that come.
Yes.
So you can agree. And that's what it's about. Is, to me, the giving is more than anything else I can give. Just showing up every single day. I don't pay to do lives, you know. And I tell people all the time, yes, I have an ebook. Of course, that I don't work a job, so I do have to make money, but my YouTube is free. My podcast is free. Everything that I give you on Instagram is free. It's free education and it's free love, you know, that I give every single day. Yeah.
Love that.
Does anybody have any questions for Ashley? Are we on a delay? It's like, so
I don't know.
We have 20 people here. Definitely give me a thumbs up because that tells the algorithm that you like me. I do take super chats. I like to buy coffee, so I do take payment in the way of super chats if you want to throw one my way.
I saw a question quite a while back, and someone had asked, they had asked about dresses and how they sell for me. I love selling dresses on Poshmark. It's how I got started. Like in the beginning, most of my closet was dresses because it was a lot of my personal stuff. Yes, there it is. And I continue to sell a ton of dresses. I sell them year round. And I think for me, because I enjoy selling them, I find joy in finding great dresses. I like, in the beginning, a lot of my dresses were like kind of like ModCloth brands, like sort of vintage inspired, that kind of look. Now I think I tend towards like Aritzia, Anthropologie, Free People on occasion, and then just like random brands that come up. But yeah, I love selling dresses. I think just because that's what my fashion sense is, and they're a lot of fun for me to sell.
I wanted Terry, that's Terry, Evolving Always. So check her out. She's on Instagram and she has a YouTube channel here. But I wonder, Terry, if you're asking that question because you think of what we're going through. I am selling a lot of dresses. And actually today I just sold a vintage prairie dress on my brand new eBay store. I'm selling in the vintage area a lot of everything. So that's like cool to see. That's where I'm going to probably sway to more than anything else. But I think a lot of people think because of the pandemic that things aren't selling, but there are still people who are living their lives every day.
Totally.
And, so like, I forgot what I was going to say. That was my 51-year-old perimenopausal.
That's okay. I'm here talking about dresses. I love wearing dresses, because I think they're a lot of fun. And I work from home. I literally sit here and sit at a computer all day. So I don't wear dresses a ton when I'm working from home just because it's a little less comfortable. But when this pandemic is over, I'm gonna be wearing all the dresses. I'm gonna wear them outside. I'm gonna wear them inside. I'm gonna like be basically that little emoji that's like the woman with the red dress who's like flaring it. That's gonna be me.
Yeah, see, the chat was slow. So I see Zoe chat. Hello, I'm struggling to sell dresses. Mess Hall Diggs. Hey, what's going on? Jen B. Yes, Jomar. I just ordered a vintage Jomar box. Jomar is they have palettes and all kinds of stuff. And so 3 things pay for like my box or whatever. So definitely check them out. We've said hi to Lori already. Okay, so friends, we're going to be closing out. Ashley, I'm so glad that you came on today. You're hysterical. Oh, you're so much fun. And at any time you can invite me to come on to your
Yeah.
Have you done any lives or anything? You've done live shows?
I have not done any lives. Maybe in the future. I don't know. I have done a couple of interviews. I did one with Becky Park, and I did one with Martha. I'm going to get Posh Boss Blake on at some point. We're going to have the most fun. Like, he doesn't know it yet, but we're going to have the best time.
Oh, he knows it. He knows it because he's so much fun. Like, he just moved from California to upstate New York back home. So that is like so cool. He sent me a message. He sent me like this big old goodie box, but I told him I can't wait because my son is actually only stationed a half hour from Blake. So I can't wait to get to upstate New York because I'm going to hit Syracuse. I'm going to hit Buffalo. I'm going to hit Schenectady. I'm going to hit all over. I'm going for like a couple weeks. And just go and have a fun, see my kid. He was just home, so whatever. But still, that's my reason.
Still nice, yeah.
Get up that way with to see friends and everything. So, but Blake is so much fun. I love Blake. I really do. I met him. He came up to me. That's how I met him. He came up to me at Posh Fest, and he was like, "Oh, how you doing?" I was like, I fell in love that day. So
that's so lovely.
So I can see whatever collab you two, because I can see you now because you have that funny, quirky thing. And then Blake is just like,
I know. And then he's going to sing something and I'm going to sing something. And we're basically going to be a Disney musical and it's going to be delightful.
Oh, yes, definitely sing for us.
Sometimes I do. But yeah, y'all can find me over on Ashley Gibson, YouTube. And then on social media, I'm Ashley DTL. And the reason that is because my blog is called Dancing Through Life. And in 2012, when I started my Twitter account, I thought that would be a great username and it stuck. So
there's nothing wrong with that. I'm going tomorrow when this buffers, I'm going to drop everything down into the comments. I took a nap and forgot to do it today, but tomorrow I'm going to drop everything down in there so people can find you. But Ashley, I just want to say thank you so much for joining. Everyone who joined the chat, thank you so much for taking time out of your day. You just don't know how much I appreciate it because you could be doing something else, even though people are multitasking, because I do it all the time too. Like if I was watching Sarah, I would be like, okay, let me just go up to Poshmark real quick and share my closet. I can still hear it. So it's nothing, there is nothing wrong with that. So friends, continue to step out of your comfort zone and do the things that you think that you cannot do. Thank you, friends.